Okay, we're live.
All right. Welcome to the Bench Talkers podcast. I'm Landon.
And I'm James.
All right. So, first and foremost, we're going to start a podcast about sports, mainly like basketball, football, a little bit of racing here and there. There's a big sporting event going on for golf, like the Masters, the World Series, the World Cup, anything like that. We'll talk about that. But first, my background. Played a lot of sports growing up. Um, I would say basketball is my favorite sport, and it probably translates to my knowledge of basketball. I kind of feel like the Rain Man when it comes to basketball.
Yeah, he knows a lot about NBA.
NBA knowledge, college basketball, I not as good as my NBA knowledge, but it's up there. I happen to be a fan of the Bucks, who are actually playing right now while we're filming, losing to the Clippers for some reason. He's also a Bucks fan. Go ahead and mention that.
Yeah,
I'm an Oregon football fan. I go to UK, so I'm a UK basketball and football fan. I'm a Rams fan when it comes to the NFL, and then many other like offhand sports I'll watch, support, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just NFL. I'm Bengals all the way. Have been my whole life. Rough year this year, but we'll get into that. I'm the one that wanted the racing segment, so I kind of forced him to do the racing because I'm a big NASCAR F1 fan. Love me some Kyle Busch and NASCAR.
Go Lightning McQueen.
Okay, yeah, this guy.
And we're both D1 Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs haters.
Yes, we both hate
Patrick Mahomes, great quarterback. Cannot stand the Chiefs.
I wouldn't even say he's a great quarterback, but
you're going that far.
I mean, he threw like 13 picks this year.
I know, but I'm still gonna give him I'd still give him top 2 all time.
Nah, we'll see.
We'll said and done, not right now, but said and done, top 2 all time.
Burrow will be better eventually.
Hopefully, I'd love to see that. I'm a big Burrow guy.
Yeah, but me also go to UK. We both go to UK, so as you can tell,
we're avid UK fans, but we're not gonna get our hopes up. Like we know what this team does every single year, year in and year out. Football program, we could go 10-3 and still somehow sell the bag. And our basketball team, we could be number 1 in the country and lose in the second round. Like we're used to it now.
I mean, as of today, we lost to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, we lost to Vandy today, but I mean, Vandy is now 16-4. Yeah. They were 15-4 coming into this game, had 1 win over us. They were behind us in SEC play because they're, I think, 3-2 in the SEC. We were also 3-2 in the SEC, but they lost to a team that we beat, so we were ahead. Now they're going to be ahead of us. They have a game on us, which we haven't lost to Vandy twice in a season, like ever. And I could potentially see them coming here and beating us this year because of how they look today. Yeah. And it was in Vandy. We were missing Andrew Carr and Kirk Risa. Like, I get that.
We're getting too ahead of ourselves.
We are getting too ahead of ourselves, but
we just love to go on.
I could go on for hours about Kentucky basketball, but
the rest of my we both go to UK. As you can tell, we're living in apartments on campus, so
we won't always be together. Usually, we will be separate cameras, separate places,
at our own setup.
Better lighting for sure. That'll definitely be
we're gonna work on the lighting.
We'll work on lighting
and a better webcam eventually. But we're both broke college students.
Yeah, you know how that goes. So let me get into a layout of how this podcast is going to work. I think every episode I'm going to start off with like a top 5 news. Doesn't have to be about the sports we talk about, just anything big. Like right now, we'd probably talk about every offensive defensive coordinator in every NFL team is leaving and going somewhere else. College guys getting called up, NFL guys going down to the NCAA. It's been kind of crazy. And then after that, like I think usually we'll probably start with the NFL because that's where both of our knowledge comes from mainly. Like we're both big NFL guys. And then he'll go into racing, talk about that. I'll try to keep up because I don't know a lot, obviously, Lightning McQueen. I'll go into the NBA, kind of rant about that, throw shots at people that I don't like. We'll definitely talk about the big events like again, Masters, World Cup, stuff like that.
Yeah, the Rolex 24 is going on right now, which is Daytona 24 Hours.
Well, that'll be under your racing segment.
Yeah.
And then college sports to end it off because there's not always something big going on in college sports, but it'll give us a chance to talk about Kentucky, talk about Ohio State, talk about Oregon.
I mean, there's games.
March Madness is coming up in a couple months. Like we'll get into that.
Yeah, that's
very deep into that. And then I think we'll probably close out with some kind of ranking system. Like I'm really big on like watching and doing it myself, like questions about like ranking athletes and ranking teams. And really it doesn't even have to be about sports. Like I just like ranking things, putting things into tier lists, that kind of stuff. And I'm sure we could get into a tier list type format at some
Oh
point
yeah,
too.
we'll do that. We'll do that at the end of this one. So
Yeah, we can definitely do that. What do you think we should talk about next?
you just want to go through? We can just go through our.
Yeah,
we
I
just
mean
start talking about stuff that we can talk about UK basketball.
UK basketball. Don't even get me
I
started.
mean, the embarrassing loss today.
I don't think it's embarrassing. See, like I think Vandy is good.
You don't think it's embarrassing?
No, I really don't. I really don't think a loss to Vandy is embarrassing.
Let's
They're
pull
gonna-
up
are
some
they- they're-
stats.
Are they going to see all this?
No, they can't see this on the
Okay.
other screen.
While he's pulling this up, Kentucky basketball. We've been missing Kirk Risa for 4 weeks now. He's got between 2 and 5 more weeks to be out with his ankle injury. We haven't done well with turnovers since he's been there. He's been a very good driving force with keeping turnovers at a minimum. Clearly, today, Lamont Butler's been our best player, best passer, best ball handler, bringing up the court. He had 2 charges against him, 6 turnovers today. 4 of those coming in the second half in the last 10 minutes, and pretty much cost us the game. But my main concern with this Vandy game is Mark Pope, because like he's been a great coach all year. He's had a little bit of problem with clock management, and today showed most. Brandon Garrison and Ainsley Almanor step up big. We were down 14 at half. In the first 10 minutes of the second half, we went on a 27-6 run. Ended up 4 with 8 minutes to go. They were the driving force. They scored 19 of those 27, assisted on almost every point, or scored it. And with 4 minutes to go in the game, neither of them in foul trouble. Pope takes them out, puts an Amari Williams in, who was only played 4 minutes in the second half. And Lamont Butler with 6 turnovers stays in, which I get him staying in because he's our driving force on offense and defense. But you don't have the 2 guys that are hot. You don't have the 2 guys that are the driving force. I mean, looking at this, we were 9 for 23 from 3, and I'm pretty sure 4 or 5 of those threes was Almanor, and I mean, Owe had one. Robinson's always making threes. I think another big key is Andrew Carr being out because he's our second leading rebounder to Amari Williams. Amari Williams didn't have a lot of rebounds today. I think Otega Owe at 6'6" was our leading rebounder. So it was a flashback to last year where we had a Duke Thiero getting more rebounds than 3 7-footers on the court, which is exactly what happened today.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell without Andrew Carr, it just felt like a different team.
And he is never our leading scorer. He's never a stat leader. But I think his presence on the court, his maturity on the court, does a lot.
Yeah.
And it definitely showed today. Look at this. We shot better from 3. We shot better from the field.
Look at it. I mean,
they went 36. We let them go 36% at the free throw line.
Yeah.
We go 61 at the free throw line.
17 turnovers.
Yeah, we had 17 turnovers and 10 personal fouls. 17 turnovers to their 5. They had 10 steals. And from what I saw, they had 21 assists to our 11. That's terrible. When we've got like Butler and Robinson normally average 11 combined, and we have 11 as a team on the entire game.
I mean, that's just an embarrassing stat line.
Looking at all these team stats, it's not good.
I mean, our rebounds were good.
Rebounds weren't bad. Like, how do we have 13 more rebounds? How do we win the rebound battle by 13 and lose?
I mean, that's always a point of emphasis with the UK, like with Pope,
we
is win
never
the
do
rebound
that.
battle. But
So the 2 battles that we never win, even when we win games, is rebounds and free throws. And we killed them on both today.
And we still lost.
We shot 5% better from the field, which 48.1% from the field is horrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible. 39.1% from 3 is good, but when you shoot 23, you need to make more than 9.
Yeah.
Like, I think the more you shoot, the higher percentage should be. It doesn't sound right, but that's how, like, if you look at, I'm not going to try to compare college to NBA, but if you look at the NBA, the more shots that are shot, the higher the percentage is going to be. Like, you look at Steph, you look at Buddy Hield, like, their percentages are higher when they shoot more. And I think that's how we need to be. Like, we're going to shoot 23, I think we should be making over 10 at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just, even in, the first half, I honestly turned it off after the first half because
I was at work listening to the game, and the way that the team played in the first half, I mean, we're always a second half team. If anyone here keeps up with Kentucky basketball, you know we're a second half team. And I think the biggest problem is that last 10 minutes of the first half. First 10 minutes, we kept it close. It looked like it was going to be another 90-point game. And then the second 10 minutes, I think the last 8 minutes of the second or the first half, we only scored like 8 points.
Yeah, I mean, it was just
And to
so
come out
unmotivating.
in the second half and in the first 9 minutes of the second half, over double your score
Yeah,
from
I
the
mean,
first half. We scored 27 in the first half. We were at 58 with 10 minutes to go. And then we only scored 11 more points in that last 10 minutes. Our
Yeah.
first 10 minutes of both halves were great.
Yeah, I mean,
The
we
last 10 minutes
outscored them in the second half
by
just,
a lot.
We just had 27 points in the first half.
Yeah, outscored them by 9 in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that.
And we scored 15 more points in the second half than we did in the first. And mainly in that first 10 minutes of the second half. I think the first 10 minutes of the first half, we had 19. So in the first 20 minutes of both halves, we have 51. And then in the last 10 minutes, we have 18.
Yeah.
That's not winning basketball. We're not going to win games like that. If we did that to Auburn, we'd lose by 30.
Yeah, Jason Edwards with 18 points for Vanderbilt.
He scored their first 10.
Yeah, he was.
And then they rested him. And I
Owe
mean,
had crazy
Otega
numbers.
Owe always puts up crazy numbers.
Has he still? Is it still like every game he's played?
He has not had a game under 10 points, and I don't see it happening
He's just
anytime
nasty,
soon.
dude.
Jackson Robinson with 11, Lamont Butler with probably a season low with 6.
Yeah.
Kobe Brea.
He
See
had
if you can
1
scroll
three.
over. I want to see what Kobe Brea's percentage was.
I don't know how to access.
You can't. You're gonna go to click on stat. No, we already looked at that. It's fine.
I can.
But Kobe Brea,
Oh.
3 points. He probably made 1 3-point shot. Let's see. Yeah, he went 1 for 4 from 3 today.
Can't have that. I mean.
Yeah, and 20% from the field. So that means he missed another 2-point shot. So 1 for 5 from the supposed best shooter in the country.
He's kind of been letting us down these past couple games.
Past couple of games, he's been low. He's played 22 minutes a game, which is low for him. He's used to playing 30 plus at BYU last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's averaging 11.2 points per game, but 48% from the field isn't great. But when you only shoot threes, I guess it's not that bad. And really, these last couple of games haven't been good. He started off the season high. He was going 60% from 3, and it still has him at one of the best 3-point shooters in the country. But before I rage anymore about
That was our. We
Kentucky
won't.
basketball,
We'll go into some NFL. Let's
Yeah.
take our picks for the weekend. for
oh
the
boy, so
Conference championship.
Conference championships. I mean, it's literally. I think we talk about the Commanders Eagles one first because I think that one's a little bit easier to decipher and
Yeah.
easier to not rant about.
I think. I mean, honestly, I want the Commanders.
I really want the Commanders to win, but Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels have been so similar this playoff run because they're both rushing the ball, they're both breaking out for long runs, they're getting first downs, they're throwing accurately. Like Jaden Daniels hasn't had an interception this playoffs. Jalen Hurts has only had 1.
Yep.
And it was off a tip pass against the Rams. And I know I'm probably going to be a little biased because I want the Commanders to win, not mainly, but partially because the Eagles beat the Rams. But I also think that it could be very plausible that the Commanders win. Jaden Daniels is hot. He looks great. Dan Quinn is coaching them very well. I don't think that Nick Sirianni is that great of a coach. I think Saquon Barkley is huge. And Jalen Hurts is not 100%. He's got a lingering knee injury, and he's still not 100% from the concussion 2 weeks ago. So you're going to see him be a little bit limited. I don't think they're going to... Kenny Pickett's not going to play. But they may have to rely... because Kenny Pickett's got, I think, an ankle injury. They're going to rely on Tanner McKee if Jalen Hurts has to go out. But on those plays, they're going to give it to Saquon. Whether the Commanders predict Saquon running the ball or not, Saquon is going to get 150 plus yards.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop that.
He's just nasty.
So he's 136 yards or 134 yards off the record for most in a season plus playoffs. It's like 24-36, and he's at 23-01 or something like that. He's gunning for that. He's going to get it. Like, I don't care who's stopping him. I get it. You got Bobby Wagner. You've got even Marshawn Lattimore. They blitz him sometimes. You're not going to get Saquon Barkley under 100 yards. You're not going to get him to not score. It's going to happen. And if you see, I mean, you do see a trend with the Commanders. Like, they're not allowing a lot of rushing yards. I know the biggest rushing game against the Commanders, I believe, was the last time they played the Eagles.
I mean,
The Commanders beat the Eagles without Jalen Hurts in their second game.
the Bengals had a good
When
rushing game against them.
They did. They went.
It was like
They went for 114 yards against them, which is probably a pretty
114 on 19 carries.
on 19 carries, especially with Joe Burrow having one of those carries.
Yeah.
That's when Zach Moss was still playing good though. Zach Moss had a fall off at the end of the season, but Chase Brown had a breakout year. We'll get into the Bengals a lot later.
Saquon's gonna get his.
Saquon's gonna get his. It doesn't matter. Like the last time they played the Commanders, Saquon played good. Commanders won, I think, just because Kenny Pickett was running quarterback for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts got hurt. But the first game, Saquon Barkley goes for 195, probably 2 touchdowns. And the way that Saquon can just impact a game, like you can rush it up the middle and he'll run over a 300-pound defensive lineman. Like it doesn't not matter.
Yeah.
The way the Commanders win this game is stopping Jalen Hurts. Don't let him rush. Run the QB contain. Dan Quinn said in a press conference or in a post that they are going to hit Jalen Hurts like a running back if he gets past the line of scrimmage. Which I think is very smart, especially with him not being 100%. You hit him like a running back. As long as he's not sliding, you don't. I mean, you could probably hit him when he's sliding and they won't call it. It's Mahomes. They're going to call that as I'm looking at this picture right here.
Yeah.
But I personally think that Jalen Hurts is going to try to do too much when he really just needs to rely on Saquon. Like I think if they rely on Saquon's running game, I think they win the game easily.
Yeah, I mean, we saw against your Rams. I mean,
right.
They just ran over.
I think this is going to be one of those cases that first team to score wins the game.
Really?
Because I don't think there's going to be a lot of turnovers. I think it's going to be high scoring. It's in Philadelphia, though. Forth. Yeah, it is in Philadelphia. Chance of snow this weekend again, which benefits the Eagles. But Washington isn't that far from Philadelphia. It's a very close. I think it could be very 50-50 with fans. I don't think it's really going to be a huge Eagles home game.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels, he has that like veteran savvy,
and he does not care about publicity.
Mm-mm.
He doesn't. He's played great under pressure all year.
I mean, we saw in the last game. I mean,
oh my gosh,
he was great under. He
was great under pressure.
I mean, it's 2020 with like
they went
within 2 minutes.
So they're up. They're only up 8, and it's 4th and 8. I don't care if it's 4th and 8. They're on their own 32. Not their own 32. They're on the Lions 32, up 8 against the best offense in the league. You turn the ball over there, they only have 68 yards to go to get a touchdown, and that's nothing for Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs. And it's 4th and 8, and Dan Quinn decides to go for it. Jaden Daniels just rushes for 32 yards and a touchdown on 4th and 8. Like, what are you going to do? You got one of the best defenses in the league, and you just...
Oh, I think of the wrong game. I'm thinking of the wrong game. What were the games last? Was it Commanders and...
Commanders, Lions, Rams, Eagles. All right, I think we talked about... Or, well, take your pick.
No, you pick. Who'd you pick?
I picked the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to take it.
I mean, I want the Commanders, but honestly, I feel like... I just realized something I'm going to have to fix is my damn Steam notifications. You see those?
Yeah, are they showing up?
Yeah, I mean
it's...
you
can just crop it out for this one and...
Well, I don't think I can crop it out, but
okay.
I'll fix it. I mean, just bear with us because we don't really know how to do this.
We literally started doing this today. We just got very excited.
This has been within the last 2 hours.
Yeah, we
this together.
I mean, we've decided to do this like for a couple of weeks now. We just really started putting things together today.
Yeah. Because we wait till the last minute. So.
Yeah. Who did you pick? You take the Eagles?
Yeah, I think honestly Saquon's just gonna win the game, and that I love the Eagles' offensive line. I mean,
I think that offensive line, even without Jason Kelce, their next center is probably still one of the top 5 centers in the league. Probably because he's been behind Jason Kelce for 5 years now.
I wish the Bengals could get that O-line.
Yeah, if the Bengals had that offensive line
or even that O-line.
Or a defense of any caliber.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Bills, Chiefs, Bills.
I mean, I gotta say Bills. I know what everyone's gonna say. Patrick Mahomes never loses in the playoffs. The refs, Taylor Swift paying people.
The ref, like the
ref against the Texans, he is being evaluated, and if you're being investigated, you can't referee another game.
No, I saw something about the head ref for this game, for the Bills Chiefs game, and he's in the season. I think away teams are like road teams are like 12 and something, like have one more than the home team.
Okay, I like to see that. I like that.
And yeah,
I don't like so the Bills only seem to beat the Chiefs this year, and
you got to do it again.
it still was. And I am a little biased. I think everybody is at this point. It was not a clean game, and the Bills still won. Like I saw calls go the wrong way. I saw Josh Allen get called for an illegal forward pass when he was 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage in that game. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I feel like this
the
game comes down to refs.
Okay.
Honestly.
And they have added Amari Cooper. I know he hasn't done that much, but he's there. James Cook has gotten a lot better. He's averaging 110 yards since their bye week, and their bye week was after they played the Chiefs. Josh Allen looks like a different animal. He had started the season with doing everything himself. He started to rely more on other players. We saw last week he was getting tackled for a 3-yard loss and sacked. Previously, he would have tried to lateral that to his running back to see if he could get yards or get out of a sack and not have it. But he just held on to it, kept it safe, prevented a fumble, scored a touchdown on the next play. He is matured so much during this season alone that I think that getting this Super Bowl means more to him than previous years.
Yep.
Especially if he wins the MVP on Thursday, or well, next Thursday, I think that just gets him even more fired because if he's in the AFC Championship and he wins the MVP and he doesn't even make the Super Bowl, he's not gonna be okay with that. I think winning the MVP is gonna be a driving force in that game. If he's gonna want to make the Super Bowl at that point.
Yeah.
And I know these awards are gonna come out after the championship games, and they always I've been an advocate for this for years now. They can say that MVP and Defensive Player of the Year are only regular season awards. I know for a fact that Lamar Jackson having 2 turnovers and losing to the Bills dropped him from 2nd to 5th.
Yeah,
There's no, because last week he was 2nd. After this game he was 5th. There's nothing that they could have seen from the regular season that drops him 4 spots. It has to be from that last game. And I think Josh Allen's the clear-cut MVP. Unless they're going off playoffs, the Bills lose, the Eagles win, Saquon ends up getting MVP. I'm here for. I would love Saquon win MVP. I think he's had an unbelievable season. It's time for someone besides a quarterback to get it. Josh Allen does deserve it, but Saquon's had a better year as a player.
I feel like if the Eagles let him play that last game and get the record,
if they let him get the record, I think you're unanimous MVP.
Yeah.
First unanimous MVP since Peyton Manning in like 2000.
Was that the last time? Yeah.
I think it was the last. No, Tom Brady was unanimous in 2017.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
And let's see MVP. I'm still gonna pick Josh Allen as my MVP vote.
Yeah. So we're both Bills. I mean, we don't.
We're both
We
Bills.
don't want to see the Chiefs.
Do we want to do our MVP pick or
let's do our awards picks?
I'm taking Josh Allen for MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Josh Allen. I mean, I know he's that whole offense, but I would honestly say Saquon just over him because
yeah. And I think out of those 5, the one that I want to see win MVP the most is Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I want to see Joe Burrow win it.
He took a team. What were you all like? 3-7 at one point. 4-8. 4-8. Win your last like 7 games of the season. Go 9-8. Miss the playoffs on a technicality.
Yeah, have a chance.
Because Carson Wentz let the Broncos put up 41 on him.
No, the Chiefs literally fell just.
They didn't I literally watched Chris Jones. Chris Jones probably best interior D lineman in the league. Nobody better now that Aaron Donald's out of the league. Fell on his back, letting a rookie left tackle mow him down.
Yeah, I mean they did not want to see the Bengals in the playoffs.
And I legitimately I don't think it has anything to do with the Broncos. I just think they didn't want to see the Bengals because they were hot. The Bengals defense was finally starting to turn around. Joe Burrow's been great all year.
Historical season too. I mean,
I think it would be great to see Joe Burrow win MVP, Trey Henderson win Defensive Player of the Year, and Jamar Chase win Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
you get that Triple Crown award. It's gonna have an asterisk next to it because they didn't make the playoffs. But I do think if you all can re-sign Jamar Chase for next year, I think a Super Bowl run is in the play if your defense can step up.
Yeah,
like they did the last few games.
Yeah, I mean Joe Burrow with just a historical
Joe Burrow's not going to be able to throw for 43 touchdowns every year
Yeah.
and not make the playoffs. He's gonna get upset, request a trade, leave at his next opportunity. Like the defense has to step up, and the defense is good. Like good names, good quality names. They
Yeah, they
work
got
together
good
well.
names, but no, honestly, I mean, they didn't really play together well.
Yeah,
Especially the
I would say
secondary.
your primary worked well together. Your linebackers, they worked well together. Secondary was a mess.
Yeah,
Like Mike Hilton needs to get like he's too slow.
and we need healthy tackles. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
you need CTB to play right. Like ever
he
since
just on or off
he had that insane pick in week 5
against the Chiefs.
against the Chiefs. I think it was against the Chiefs.
something like that.
It was against the Chiefs. He had the one-handed Odell
Yeah, it was like
catch looking interception. Didn't really have a great game since.
He's just on. I mean, it's either you get a pick or he gives up a touchdown.
Yeah,
It's
and
one or the other.
I think he gave up a lot of touchdowns this year.
He
And
did,
It's
yeah.
not winning football.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not just gonna blame it on him because it's a little bit of everybody. Like Trey Hendrickson, I think is the only guy that had a great year and had a great game every single game.
Yeah, I mean, if Hendrickson wasn't like getting pressure, then our whole line didn't get pressure. I mean,
Right.
we need
And you
another
see
end.
Hendrickson get pressure. The next play he's doubled, and then you see Sam Hubbard come around, or you see BJ Hill come through, and like you get pressure from other guys when Trey Hendrickson's doubled. And I honestly would say that I think Logan Wilson's the most underrated linebacker in the
Oh,
NFL.
yeah. I mean,
He
he's
gets a
been
lot
really
of pressures. He had a 55-yard pick six. I don't remember who it was against, but it was a great read.
He's always up there in tackles too.
He's always very high in tackles. Probably I wouldn't say top 5, top 10 in the NFL in tackles. Let's go back to the award races and take our pick for Defensive Player of the Year.
I mean, for me, it's Hendrickson.
I would say that I want Hendrickson to get it. I could see them giving it to Zach Bond. Zach Bond, just because the Eagles made it so far in the playoffs, he had a great game in the wild card round.
I honestly don't know much about Zach Bond.
He's young. He's good.
Out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 28. He's been in the league for 5 years.
Yes. And there's a lot of stats for him. Like when he's not on the field, they give up a lot more yards. And I don't know if it's pressures, if he's good in coverage. I don't know a lot about him. I just know
he's got a while. 140 tackles.
Yeah, 140 tackles. He's the leading tackler in the league. He's played the most snaps out of any defensive player in the league, and he played one less game than most people.
I mean, a linebacker with 3.5 sacks and a pick.
And this is his first year on the Eagles. He's been on the Saints his whole career. First year on the Eagles out of his rookie contract, he leads the league in tackles, probably leads in pressures. Like he's got 82 solo tackles. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the dip 2023 to 24. Last year he had 26.
Yeah,
total.
he increases by 114 tackles in 1 year.
That's a crazy.
And he played in every game in those previous years except 2022. He only played in 13. He plays in 16 this year and gets 140 tackles, 58 assists, 3.5 sacks, which isn't great, but he seems more. He's a smaller linebacker. He seems more of a coverage linebacker than anything. He is honestly probably I'm gonna pick him, but I would love to see Trey Hendrickson get it. He deserves it. I think clear cut he was the best defender this year. I just don't know if.
Yeah, I mean he was the best player on that defense.
I think the voters are looking more at playoffs right now than anything, and it sucks because the Bengals made it. The Bengals were my preseason Super Bowl pick. Going into Week 18 with the possibility of making the playoffs, they're my Super Bowl pick. Because I think you put Burrow in the playoffs, he's going to do what Josh Allen's been doing right now. He's going to kill people. He's going to do what he has to do to win, whether his defense steps up or not. And we saw that the Bills' defense stepped up against the Ravens, and Josh Allen stepped up. Like when his defense is on and playing good, and can give him the rest that he needs while also stopping the Ravens, it's winning football. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I'm Trey Hendrickson. You're Zach Bond.
Zach Bond. Yep.
Bond, yeah.
AP Offensive Player of the Year.
So for me, I think it's Joe Burrow if he doesn't win MVP, and it's Jamar Chase if Burrow does win MVP.
Okay, I think no matter what happens, Joe Burrow doesn't win Offensive Player of the Year. I think it should be Jamar Chase. I think it should be Jamar Chase. He's a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
When Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown with less yards, less touchdowns, less receptions, he was the clear-cut, unanimous Offensive Player of the Year. So Jamar Chase should do that. But that year, the leading rusher was Derrick Henry with only 1,500 yards. Saquon has 600 more yards. 12 more touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like that, Saquon is
I feel
clear
like
cut. This is one of the best offensive seasons I've ever seen.
I feel like if Saquon like got the record, then I would.
Yeah,
Put him
if he got the
above.
record, I would say so. But I think it's a toss up between those two. I don't think Derrick Henry should be even on this list.
No, I don't.
I don't. He did not do a lot for the Ravens as a team. He did a lot for himself. He did a lot for Lamar. He freed up. If you notice, their RPO, Lamar, when he kept it, Derrick Henry got so much attention from the linebackers of other teams. Lamar just was able to get 20-yard rushes.
I mean,
He did so much for himself, did so much for Lamar, didn't do a lot for their team. As we saw last week, Derrick Henry did not have a good game against the Bills, and the Ravens had a bad game. But yeah, I'm gonna take Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I mean probably Jamar. Honestly,
It
Burrow's
should be Jamar. I could see Barkley at a close second. I could honestly, there's an argument for Burrow.
I mean, if Burrow doesn't win MVP, he'll probably win comeback.
I think Burrow definitely. We can talk about comeback. It's not on this website, but I think comeback player of the year should be Burrow. Darnold close second. Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold hadn't had,
Yeah, fluke playoff.
well, if you look at it, they lost to two teams. They lost 4 games to the same 2 teams. They lost to the Rams twice. They lost to the Lions twice. I don't see an issue with them losing to the Lions. I understand that the Lions were probably the best offensive team in football and a top 5 defensive team in football.
Yeah.
Their time was against the Commanders. Everybody has a bad game. That's their bad game. I thought the Texans was going to be their bad game. Jared Goff throws 5 picks and they still beat the Texans. Don't know how that happened. Texans have 0 turnovers, force 5 and lose. Most Texans thing ever.
Yeah.
But the Vikings losing to the Rams twice, once in Minnesota, once in Minnesota, and once in LA. Well, it was in Arizona, so still basically a home game for the Rams. But to lose at home to the Rams on primetime, which the Rams are the best primetime team in football.
Really?
This year they were 4-2 on primetime. Last year they were like 4-1 on primetime. And in the year that we had the number 5 pick in the draft or something, with number 6 pick in the draft, and I think we went 4-13 that year. The year after we won the Super Bowl, we were 4-0 in primetime. Our only 4 wins were in primetime. Like, I mean, we're the best primetime team in football, and I'll take that to my grave. Like, I don't think any other team is better in primetime, and not like that matters or anything, but both both Vikings games we played, one was Monday Night Football and one was Sunday Night Football.
I mean, I think it matters if you win other times.
Yeah. Like if you're, especially if primetime playoffs, like I'm not gonna say they did that for a reason. The Rams got Sunday Night Football in the divisional round, not the divisional round, the wild card round, and maybe for good reason. The Vikings are also very good in primetime. I've noticed. Their defense steps up in primetime. Sam Darnold apparently doesn't, because he was 0-3 in games they lost. 3 of them were primetime games. There was a Sunday Night Football game at the end of the season with the Lions. Then actually 4, because the first Lions-Vikings game was a Thursday Night Football game. So he was 0. All 4 losses came in primetime. So correlation, maybe. Coincidence, probably.
Yeah, I mean primetime wins in primetime are a big deal. Like when you're a contender.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, because that can make or break your season.
Let's go on to offensive rookie of the year.
Rookies. I mean, I think honestly, Jaden Daniels.
It should be Jaden
playoff. It's
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. Brock Bowers, like on his own, had a generational.
Brock Bowers he was the best tight end in the league this year, and as a rookie, had one of the best tight end seasons we've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's just not great that he was on the he plays for the Raiders. He plays for the Raiders.
The worst.
To be able to put up the yards and the touchdowns and the receptions that he did
with
3 different quarterbacks, he had Desmond Ridder towards the end of the season. He had Aiden O'Connell in the middle. He had Gardner Minshew in the beginning.
3
horrible. I'm gonna say it. Horrible quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew has his spurts. Desmond Ridder went to my high school. I don't like talking bad about him. He's horrible.
Yeah.
Get him out of the league. Put him in the CFL. I don't care. Desmond, I love you. But Aiden O'Connell, oh my lord.
I mean, he has potential, but like he just does not.
He does have potential. He has potential. But you've also got to look at that organization. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean that's.
And
why
now
they,
that Tom Brady's there, maybe once like
I mean,
he's
they cleaned house and
they cleaned house. They got, but they've
the
got to
GM
wait for
they
some
got
of
is
these
good.
contracts to leave up. And I think they should trade Max Crosby. He's gonna leave at the end of his contract. They need to trade him to get something out.
Yeah, I was saying he should go to the Bengals.
My God, put him.
Dude, I mean,
Who's he gonna replace? Sam Hubbard.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Hubbard has not been that good for us.
I love Sam Hubbard. Don't talk shit about Sam
Yeah,
Hubbard.
I love the Ohio State boy, but like, he's not.
No, I
good
think
en-
the Bengals need to draft Jack Sawyer from Ohio State.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that would be their best play this year.
That would fix a lot of
Honestly,
problems.
let Sam Hubbard walk. He's eating up money that you don't like. I love him to death, but he's eating up money that you don't have.
Yeah, I don't know his contract details, but
It's not huge, but it's still money that you could use to go somewhere else. It needs to go to T. Higgins. It needs to go to Jamar Chase. Burrow's supposedly restructuring his contract, and I think that's really good because you've got to have Jamar Chase will be the highest, if not the second highest, to Justin Jefferson paid receiver. He wants that number one money, but if he's second to Justin Jefferson, he's not going to care. They're best friends. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
yeah, so we both agree with Jaden Daniels for sure.
Yes, yes, I like. And defensive rookie of the year, I think Cooper DeJean, clear cut.
Yeah.
He was targeted 86 times, didn't allow a touchdown. Or he allowed, like, he was targeted 86 times, didn't allow a touchdown. He was, like, under 20% for reception percentage, and that's pretty much unheard of for rookies.
I mean,
he was very good. Braden Fisk, top 5 in sacks in the league as a rookie defensive end for the Rams.
Two Rams and 2 Eagles.
2 Rams and 2 Eagles on this list. Quinyon Mitchell, 2 cornerbacks from the Eagles. The two starting cornerbacks from the Eagles as rookies behind Darius Slay. Darius Slay's amazing. He stepped up in the Rams game, got a pick off Stafford, got 4 deflections in the first drive of the game. He played unreal. But then looking at Chop Robinson for the Dolphins, he stepped up with Bradley Chubb hurt this year, and I think that's the only reason he's there. He wouldn't have started if Bradley Chubb hadn't gotten hurt. He only started 10 games this year. I'm biased towards Braden Fisk, but I'm going to say Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, I agree with DeJean. I mean, just unbelievable rookie performance. I mean, he was putting respect on the white cornerback's name.
Yes, he is. And then we're going to see Will Johnson come into the league this year and do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think Will Johnson's going to be, he's not going to be as good as Cooper DeJean, but he's going to be very good.
I agree. Comeback.
Comeback player of the year.
I feel like politically it'll probably be DeMar.
Politically, it's going to end up being DeMar Hamlin.
But I feel like it should be Joe Burrow.
So DeMar Hamlin, it's a weird situation, and some people might think it's weird to see him up for comeback player of the year because he did play last year. But he got a starting role this year. He's got career highs, which he's only played 3 years. 1 year he sat out because of the whole injury. Everybody knows about it.
Yeah, I remember watching that game. That was pretty.
I watched that game live. It was crazy. He had a great year this year. He had a great game against the Ravens. Okay, so go back to what we just looked at.
Is there not playoff games?
No, they don't have playoffs. Here, go scroll down to the bottom. Okay, in 14 games this year, gets 62 tackles. 2022, the year that he got hurt, he had 63. And he started 15 games. He started 1 more game.
Yeah, that was in 22.
Yes, 22. I meant 22.
Yeah.
And like total, he only had 2 more combined. So he had about the same year. But if you look at games that he played in this year, he was tracking guys down. He was putting pressure. And to be a safety and be able to impact the game the way that I saw him impact the game against the Ravens, he was all over the field the entire time, making Lamar Jackson second guess what he was doing, and working really well with Taylor Rapp. They are always on the same side of the field, left or right, depending on who Taylor Rapp's covering. And I think that could be a big factor in this Chiefs game, actually, because Taylor Rapp is out, or game time decision probably out. It's going to be weird to see who DeMar Hamlin kind of works off of, because on zones, if Taylor Rapp has that underside zone, you always see DeMar Hamlin over the top. Or if you see DeMar Hamlin coming down, Taylor Rapp's playing man and going with that guy, and DeMar Hamlin's working on a double team or forcing that guy to change his route. And I think without Taylor Rapp in the game, you're going to see that chemistry slip a little bit. And you could either see DeMar Hamlin step up even more, or you could see a falter. And I think that will be a big factor on if they win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from what they're coming back from, probably DeMar is coming back from obviously the worst.
Yeah, and
injury.
I think, did he win comeback player of the year last year, or did they give it to Aaron Rodgers? Or no, Aaron. I think they gave it to.
No,
Aaron.
last year was Burrow.
Was it Burrow last year?
It was.
Then it shouldn't go to Burrow again.
You don't think so?
I don't think Burrow.
I mean,
then what's he coming back from this year?
He had a.
I mean,
he came back from the wrist.
I know, but like he got comeback player of the year last year for only playing half the season.
Maybe he didn't last year. Let me fact check that.
I know
was that 23?
I know everybody thought it was going to be Rodgers this year. Oh no, Joe Flacco got it last year. Yeah, because he played a lot last year.
Oh, okay. So that's so random.
Well, he took the Browns to the playoffs.
That is right. Okay. Burrow got in 22 for the.
Yeah, for the leg injury.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I'm gonna take. I think they'll give it to Burrow, honestly, to be able to put up those like 4,300 yards this year, 43 touchdowns. He's averaging a touchdown per 100 yards, which is a touchdown every 1.5 possessions, or two.
That's just and like historically, it's some crazy statistics.
Yeah, crazy statistics on 43 interceptions to 9 touchdowns. That's you're throwing an interception 25% of the time, 20% of each touchdown, which isn't. It's not bad by any means.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully, after those first couple of weeks, he was locked in. He just plays on a different level to other quarterbacks.
All right.
And hopefully, if he starts off not injured another year,
yeah. So I think we both want Joe Burrow. I think we both take Joe Burrow here.
Yeah.
I could see DeMar Hamlin getting it. I don't think anybody else will. Sam Darnold cracked under pressure.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins, great season. He just plays for a bad team.
He's just not on the level of these others. Same with Gonzalez.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez, he got hurt in week 10 last year, so he played a good amount. J.K. Dobbins was out for over a year. He missed the last 6 games of 2023, missed the last 6 games of 2022, missed all of 2023. Goes to a new team, rushes for over 1,200 yards, which is not bad by any means. Saquon made it look stupid, but still, it's good. It's a career high. I think it's a career high for him, actually. Which not playing next to Lamar Jackson helps with your rushing numbers when you have Justin Herbert, who only leaves the pocket 5% of the plays.
Yeah.
It helps your run game a lot. But I still don't see it coming anywhere close to Burrow's season.
No, their seasons weren't anything compared to that. So
Coach of the Year, I think Dan Quinn should be unanimous.
Yeah,
Dan Campbell only won 2 more games than last year, which I'm not saying 16-1 is amazing. But
just
Dan Quinn took the team from number 2 overall to one of the final 4 teams in the league with a rookie quarterback, a rocky running back system, an unhappy wide receiver core because Curtis Samuel doesn't really, Curtis Samuel's not there anymore. You have Luke McCaffrey as your wide receiver too right now, guy we never heard of last year. Terry McLaurin, we don't even know what's going on with his contract. We don't know if he's going to be a Commander in 3 weeks. Who knows?
And
that defense has surprised me a lot. They got Marshawn Lattimore at the deadline. They got Bobby Wagner preseason. I think Bobby Wagner personally is Super Bowl hunting at this point. He tried to go to the Rams and win one the year after we won. Didn't happen. He went back to the Seahawks last year. Didn't happen. And he went to the Commanders this year. Could happen. I could see it happening.
He keeps pumping out seasons somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. He's getting old. He's doing the same thing Von Miller did. Yeah. Von Miller, that's a big factor in the Bills game as well.
Yeah,
go back to that. Von Miller plays for the Bills.
He wins the Super Bowl.
He's got 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. He'll have 3, and he'll be one of the only players in NFL history, if maybe the only, to win a Super Bowl on 3 teams.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else has done that.
Yeah, I'm sure like a Garoppolo's probably done it.
Well, yeah, but playing, I guess starting.
No, Garoppolo hasn't done it. He only won at the Patriots. But
don't get me started about Garoppolo.
Dude, I will make a video and post it on YouTube about me talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. For people who hate Jimmy Garoppolo or don't like Jimmy Garoppolo or just don't appreciate overrated quarterbacks, I know he's not considered a good quarterback, but he's overrated for being bad.
Overrated backup.
Bad quarterback is an understatement for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. Just a waste of cap space.
The fact that the Rams are spending $1.2 million a year on him for the next 2 years after this year, plus the $2 million signing bonus we gave him, he was suspended for the first 5 games. we also have Stetson Bennett. I'll just do a whole video talking about the Rams quarterback room, especially if Stafford leaves and we don't draft a quarterback. You know what? I'm gonna stop myself before I get angry. I will post a video in the next week or so on the Rams quarterback room. What I think we should do. You can be part of it if you want to.
Okay, yeah.
Here's what I think we're gonna do. We'll make a video about the Bengals, what they should do with the draft in the offseason. We'll make a video about the Rams, about what they need to do in the offseason, and talk about that.
There's a lot
Completely
of stuff
separate
for
from the
both
podcast
teams.
because we both need a lot. I think the Rams need more than the Bengals do because the Bengals have a solidified offense. We just got to talk about their contract stuff.
Yeah, we just need a defense.
We'll leave that for another.
Draft should honestly be all defense, but
We'll leave that for another time.
So yeah, Dan Quinn definitely. I mean, first year coach taking them to the playoffs like they did, just coaching that quarterback up and that whole team. I mean, bringing that team together with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that very often.
All right, AP Assistant Coach of the Year. I think it should go to Vic Fangio, 1,000%. I don't think it's even close.
Wow, I think Ben Johnson.
I could see Ben Johnson at most points in the league. I think it should go to Vic Fangio because the Eagles had one of the hardest strength of schedules all year.
That is true. Yeah, I just like I love the scheme that Ben Johnson has.
Ben Johnson has a great scheme.
I mean,
he was able to get Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery working so well together to where you don't know who the running back one is. You could line them both up in the backfield and just pick one and they're gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
David Montgomery kind of had a small fall off. He got hurt. Jahmyr Gibbs has taken over, and I think if Jahmyr Gibbs had this, I don't want him to because I think the two running back system works so well for those two, and I think both of them thrive off of it. If he had a single running back system, I think he'd be where Saquon is right now. David Montgomery's been out. He's been averaging 126 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns a game. With, I would say, probably the second best offensive line in the league. A quarterback that doesn't rush. You don't have to worry about that. Jared Goff's not leaving the pocket ever unless it collapses. And Jahmyr Gibbs is probably an undervalued receiving back. We think about Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams. Those are your receiving backs. But Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is probably the best at it. He can catch the ball in stride. He did a lot of receiving at Alabama.
I mean, you saw it in the Commanders game. I mean, he was all. You give him the ball 15 yards and he catch the ball.
Yeah, and I think Jahmyr Gibbs might be one of the few highlights for the Lions in that game.
Yeah.
And I think they should credit him for almost leading a comeback in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, if they didn't throw so many picks,
Jared Goff. I don't want to say fraud. I would never speak badly about Jared Goff. He had 2 bad games this year. One against the Texans, one against the Commanders in the playoffs. And I didn't think their game was going to be this early. I thought they were going to make the Super Bowl, and I thought they were going to blow it in the Super Bowl. They are very good. They will win a Super Bowl with this team. Jared Goff, maybe not. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Aiden Hutchinson, Dan Campbell. Those 5 together at least will win a Super Bowl.
Really.
And I could see it happening in the next 4 years. I just don't think Jared Goff is your guy. And I'm not saying get rid of Jared Goff right now. I'm not saying draft a good quarterback because let's look at this quarterback class. I don't think it's there. I don't think you're going to find your franchise quarterback there. Maybe,
unless you're
maybe
1 or 2.
I don't even think Shadur Sanders is going to be I don't think Shadur Sanders can be a franchise quarterback. I think he's going to be something like Caleb Williams. You could put him as a franchise quarterback. You can start to build off of him. But I don't think he's going to be anything crazy. I think Cam Ward will be the best quarterback out of this class. I think whoever gets Cam Ward, and it's probably going to be, the Giants have the number 2 pick right now, as long as they don't trade it. I think you see them get that pick, and I think they can develop a quarterback well. They're going to have money because they're going to, I think they released Daniel, they did release Daniel Jones. He has to be released, and they did. That frees up $190 million for the next 4 years. So they could sign some big names. They need offensive line. I don't think the receivers is a problem. Malik Neighbors is good.
Neighbors is incredible.
Who's their tight end? Is it?
I got no clue.
I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
I think it's a rookie.
Yeah, Tyrone Tracy. I want to talk about him for a second while he's looking at this. Tyrone Tracy came into the league, and I think he should be up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He took Devin Singletary's spot in 3 weeks. And Devin Singletary's not a good running back by any means, but Tyrone Tracy, 6th round pick, I think, 5th round maybe, to come into the league and play that well, average 86 yards a game or something like that. Daniel Bellinger.
I have no
I
idea.
think Greg Dulcich is really their starter. Theo Johnson on IR. Theo Johnson's good.
Yeah, he was
I-
he a
I-
rookie out of where was he from?
He's not a rookie. I think he played for the Saints last year.
Oh, okay. I thought he was younger.
He is a younger guy, but I don't think he is.
I don't know anything about Daniel Bellinger, but
Yeah, see, he only made it 3 games this year. He's 23 years old, so I think this is. Oh, he was a rookie. Theo Johnson was a rookie.
yeah, I thought from Penn State.
Yeah, and I think
round
they
four,
could get
five.
away with not drafting a quarterback at 2. They could trade down, and work with Drew Lock. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
And I think with
that
the-
crazy game against
And
the
I
Colts.
I could honestly see them spending some of that 190 million from Daniel Jones' contract on Sam Darnold. I could see Sam Darnold as a giant, but Sam Darnold wants a $160 million contract, and I don't think he's worth it. He had a great take away the last 3 games of the season. Sam Darnold could be worth it, but
he's a good transition quarterback.
He is.
He's not worth that.
He's not worth $160 million.
No.
And I'm sure we'll have some kind of segment at some point on contracts and
Oh,
who
yeah.
deserves them and who doesn't. And I'll go on a rant
Oh,
about Dak Prescott and Jordan Love and how they don't deserve to be the top 8 quarterbacks in the league
yeah.
at any point in time, ever. And their franchises are stupid. But I'll get into that later. Let's go back to these awards.
I think that was all of them. That's all of them.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I think Ben Johnson. You think?
I think Vic Fangio, but
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, I would never be mad at that. Brian Flores, I could see it because that that defense did get them a lot of wins. There were a lot of close games. Defense had to step up. I think a lot of their games that were 1 score, their defense was on the field last. Their offense put them in the. I don't want to say put them in the position to have to win the game, but they were in the position to have to win the game a lot.
I mean, Brian Flores with that
I think-
aggressive scheme.
I think the Eagles special team coordinator should be on here.
Really.
Their special teams has been outstanding. And if you look at the Bills' special teams as well, I think that a lot of DeMar Hamlin's tackles actually came on special teams because he is one of the 1, 2, 3 guys on special teams, and he tracks down the ball carrier.
Yeah, we don't get special teams.
You don't get a special teams coordinator because they're not on the field a lot.
Yeah.
And I think we should have a special teams player of the year, personally, because I look at
I
Kevontae
agree.
Turpin. He's probably the only Dallas Cowboys player I could actually say is worth a thing. Like I will,
That's so true.
I will go off about the Cowboys all day long. Like they're the only team I hate more than the Chiefs. It's the Cowboys. Can't stand them.
I have a Cowboys hater episode because we both hate the Cowboys.
We'll get my dad on for that one. My dad will go off with us.
Yeah,
Somebody, I don't care who it is.
I can't
Anybody,
stand the Cowboys.
anybody who's not a Cowboys fan is welcome to rant about the Cowboys with us.
Yeah, I can't.
Even
stand it.
Cowboys fans, like I've seen you all mad, like at who you don't even know how to pronounce your all's new coach's last name. Biggest transition from coach Mike McCarthy, one of the greats, great coaches, Super Bowl winning coach, to a guy who's never even had an interview as a head coach, barely even interviewed with you all, and you hire him? Really?
Yeah, Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer, Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, he was their OC. I didn't even know.
Yeah, and look at this headline: Brian Schottenheimer as Cowboys head coach reportedly isn't Jerry Jones' idea. Doesn't Jerry Jones have the last say?
Dude,
And
that's
in the
such a
Cowboys hater
headline.
episode, I will spend most of my time talking about Jerry Jones because this playoff drought, this Super Bowl drought, I'm not even gonna say 90%. I'm gonna say 100% Jerry Jones' fault. Everything that's wrong with the Cowboys on Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I think if the Jerry Jones wasn't the owner, I don't think owners should be general managers either. And I think that's what part of the problem is with other teams. Like when you see the owner as a general manager, it's not good because you don't have difference of opinions. You don't see that and I'll get into the Jets at some point too.
Yeah, we need to. We're making this kind of long. We need to cut it off.
We need to cut it off at some point. Do we need to talk about anything else?
I think we got our picks. We got our weekend.
We got our picks. We got our weekend
We
picks.
got the Bills, and you said Commanders. I'll say Eagles.
Yep.
Then over the UK game. I mean, we can't. We'll go over the NBA.
Yeah, we'll talk about NBA Monday.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do Monday nights. If you see this,
We'll try to post it maybe.
yeah, we'll try to post about it beforehand. See if we can get spread out a little bit, get some people interested. We'll probably be live on Monday potentially, maybe
If we figure out how to do it.
if we figure out everything that we need to do.
Yeah.
But with that being said,
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
this is
see you in the next one.
just our kind of, we wanted to get this out here. We were excited about it. We
Very
wanted to-
excited.
This guy was jumping up and down. He was
Shut up.
Let's
No, I was
record it
not.
right now.
I wasn't jumping, but I did say we should do it right now.
He was really excited. So we tried
I
to
had
get
everything
something
on my
out.
head. I had everything in my head. See, I could
So-
go on for hours about this
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, we got an hour. We got an hour.
That was only an hour. I thought it was longer.
Only an hour.
I thought that was longer.
That was pretty good.
I could go for more.
So-
You had to cut me off like
You know?
9 times.
No.
But we'll see you in the
Yeah,
next one.
we'll see you in the next one, guys. Hopefully you like it. Let us know.